and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about the early history of what is now Great Britain. This is not intended to be an in-depth university level lecture. It is more of a general overview to help those of you studying for the Life in the UK test. It is not intended to be a replacement for the handbook that you have for the Life in the UK test. It's more of an addition in case having someone tell you about it is easier than reading about it. You should still refer to the handbook for your test. This is the fourth in a series of short videos covering different times in British history. If you missed the first ones, you may wish to watch the videos about the Stone Age, the Bronze and Iron Ages, and the Romans first. If not, stay with me and let's see what happened when the Anglo Saxons arrived. Listen carefully and try to answer the questions on screen. The Angles, Saxons and Jutes had been arriving on these shores from northwest Germany and Friesland since about 400 CE. But in those early years, the Romans fought them off. Once the Romans had left in about 410 CE, the way was clear for these new invaders, and they began arriving in bigger and bigger numbers, especially from 450 CE onwards. By 600 CE, they were firmly established, and they had started to form themselves into small kingdoms. There were 7 main kingdoms: Essex, Wessex, Sussex, Mercia, Kent, East Anglia and Northumberland, and a few smaller ones. The Britons were forced into the very edges of the land, into what is now Devon and Cornwall, Wales, Cumbria and Scotland. The name England comes from Angleland, and within about 300 years of the Anglo-Saxons arriving, they were using the word English to describe the people living in the southern kingdoms. The Anglo-Saxon languages became the basis for modern English, although Old English is impossible to understand for most English speakers. The Anglo-Saxon people were buried with all their possessions, and one of the most important discoveries of a burial site from this era was at Sutton Hoo in Suffolk. This was the grave of a king, probably King Redwald, and it contained a ship filled with treasure. Let's just recap those main points. Britain was invaded by the Angles, Saxons and Jutes. English is based on the languages they spoke. The Anglo-Saxons set up several kingdoms in what is now England. The Britons fled to Wales, Cornwall and Scotland. One of the greatest discoveries from Anglo-Saxon times was the burial site at Sutton Hoo. I hope you found that useful. You may wish to listen again, but if you feel confident, look out for the next video where we'll talk about the Vikings. I look forward to welcoming you back very soon.